Good afternoon, team. My name is Danny. You might already know me from the support team, and I'll be guiding you through today's webinar. Based on the feedback we received from the previous webinars, you guys asked us for a more detailed view of the mobile app settings. So following up on that request, we came up with this webinar titled Maximize Your Driver's Efficiency with Enlite Routes. Since there is a lot of content, we have decided to divide this Enlite route into two, so we can dedicate enough time and attention to each and every single setting. Feel free to drop questions on the chat window below. It's called questions here. At any given moment, please don't hesitate just to write what's on your mind. All questions will be addressed at the end of the presentation. And keep in mind that this session will be recorded for future reference. And if by any chance we don't reply or answer a question in time, then they will be replied over email. So here's an overview of what we'll be covering today. The first part of this webinar will include an in-depth view of Enlite's Drivers app functionality. It will cover from the most used settings to specific optimizations. The most used settings can be divided into 5 main categories: route filters, general, navigation, actions, and some customization tools. Starting with route filters. Why do we begin with this? It's because it will help you identify the routes and render them visible. General are used to improve and guarantee your driver's highest performance. Then navigation, which are tools used to fit your driver's preferences and needs. After that, we have actions, which will make your driver's preparation for the route highly efficient and the step-by-step process more productive. Then we jump to the second section of today's routes functionality settings, which will include the customization tools, such as restriction to access settings by adding a pin and custom release form by signature capture. And at last, by the end of every route, a route report will be sent with great details so you can rest assured that everything is working properly. So guys, before we begin, you need to be aware of the following. You might encounter this very first window that explains that there are no routes found, and that might be because your driver is not assigned to a route, which is in most cases is. So you need to select either the option settings button or this little icon on the top left. As soon as you hit any of the two previous commands, it's going to take you to your actual settings. All you need to do is scroll down until you see the route filters, and you're gonna have these two options: all drivers and all days. Both of them can be activated or enabled simultaneously. And as soon as you activate one of the two, that will render visible your actual routes so you can start working on them. So this will get us to our very first set of settings, which is the general settings. It's made up of mode, enhanced micro overlay, customer signature capture, and the employee time card. Again, as soon as you enter the settings, this will be the very first one and all the way at the top. So let's get to our very first command, which is mode. What it does is change the color contrast to a minimum for all of those that are alongside behind a computer, or in our case, a phone or a tablet. This setting will actually change the brightness conditions to reduce eye stress and even conserve battery power. This is the actual command, mode. As you can see, the default view is the light one. And this option that you might have, it's the dark one. And as soon as you enable this one, this will be the actual view So our second command is the enhanced marker overlay. It's a feature designed to highlight points of interest to the driver. They are not necessarily associated to the route, although there can be some shared addresses. What it does is display some icons with extra information in the places that you want to stand out. For example, you can point out a person, such as a VIP client. In our case, we call Mr. John with the red icon. You can point out a company that you would like to give promotions to, such as the police department. Um, it's noted by this cherry blue badge in here, or even possible leads that could become a partner in the near future, which in your case, we highlighted with this sun-like icon. Um, you need to be aware that this setting will require the help of the support team. The next setting will be the customer signature capture. And what it does is register the actual customer signature. So you can have evidence that the customer is aware or that he or she acknowledges a service was offered. Once you have the setting enabled, called customer signature capture, this pencil or pen like icon will show up on your actual routes. All you gotta do is select it, click on it, and this window will show up called release form, and you're gonna have this blank window where it's the actual space where you're going to sign or let the customer sign, and all you gotta do is just save that, and for future reference it will be shown on the routes report afterward. Then we jump to the employee time card. It will register the time the driver took until the completion of a route. Keep in mind that it's synchronized with the POS to keep track of the entirety and process of a route and record the amount of time it takes to complete a specific route. Again, it's synchronized with the POS, and you need to go under time card manager in the POS, and the length can also be found on the route report in case you needed more details about this. Then we jump to our second set of settings, which belong to the navigation category. These are a simple set of features and easy to understand, such as the turn-by-turn navigation, navigation provider, and settings. So let's jump to the very first one. The turn-by-turn navigation, it's just detailed steps to reach your destination. What it would do, it's redirect you to your navigation app. It will be shown on an icon on the top left of your screen. So this is how the turn-by-turn navigation is going to work on your phone. Just look for this icon on the bottom left of your screen with the arrow. Just click on it and it's going to redirect you to your navigation provider. The second set of navigation settings is actually the navigation provider. This will let you choose between the navigation of your preferences, giving the driver an edge and faster response. When you actually go to the settings, these are the options that you are going to see. As soon as you hit this option right here, it will give you these three options: Google Maps, Waze, and Maps, which belong to the Apple company. And the last, for the navigation features, we have the GPS settings. This feature is actually mainly set for Android devices that do not have good GPS models in them. So this will actually render the system to make faster and precise responses. Just select GPS settings, click on the blue letters and just activate the filter and just save them. There is no need to touch the preferences that you're going to see on the options. So just hit save. Now we jump to our third set of settings called action, made of auto select features uh, for book and past due orders, as well as for regular customers. Then auto advanced route stops, followed by quick action buttons, and at last the new order default status. We begin with the auto select book orders. When opening the route with this setting enabled, the app will automatically select the orders that have the book status. Since book orders do not have anything to be scanned, uh, might be receipt or invoices, this setting helps you avoid the need to manually check those book orders. So again, it's the very first set of action settings. As soon as you enable that, let's take this example. So we have Jeff Winger and Trey Barnes um, that have those invoices marked as booked. So if we have this setting enabled with these preferences, then these two customers should be selected. And as you can see, as soon as you have it enabled, this is what the customer or the driver should see. Let's go to auto select past due order. By default, orders which due date is previous from today's date will be selected. If you have another one or more recent invoices, then the filter will select only one invoice. This is used for orders which could not be serviced on time or on a previous route activity. As you can see, it's our second filter for action settings. And let's take this example. We must take first of all the reference of March 9th. Yep. So according to this, our third customer with orders from March 7th and March 5th, again, previous to March 9th, should be the customer whose invoices should be selected. And as you can see, with the setting enabled, this is the customer that should be selected. Our third setting is auto select regular orders. This will select automatically all the customers that have been marked as regular in the route section of the POS. It's used for customers with a constant volume of orders whose invoices have not been created yet. There are two ways to add a customer or mark a customer as a regular pickup customer. The first way, it's done through the walk-in screen. Again, go to the walk-in, select the customer, and you enter the walk-in screen. As soon as you enter the walk-in screen, you gotta hit customer routes, and it will prompt a window, which is this window, the customer's routes window again. And you gotta check the box on the regular pickup. Your second option, it's done also through the POS. You gotta go to the back office, select the routes menu with the red background, and you're going to enter this menu. First of all, select the routes of your choice, and then choose the customers that you want to mark as regular. For our specific case, we're going to use these two customers, Brita Perry and Abed Nadir, marked as regular pickup or regular customers. As you can see, this is what the system recognizes, which is fine, the two customers that have been marked as regular customers. This next set of settings is called the Auto Advanced Route Stops. And what it does, it's automatically take you to the next stop. So after making a stop and mark it as done, it will take you straight away to the next customer. So this is how the advanced route stop is going to work. Whenever you have reached your destination, the current customer, you have to click the Arrive button. As soon as you're there, just select the invoices that need to be serviced, hit done, and the system will automatically change you to the next customer, the next stop. Then we jump to the last set of the action settings, which is called quick action buttons. And what it does is it allows you to quickly modify the status of any order. So you will be able to create and or change the status of any invoice. They are represented by these two buttons. The top one, the check icon, and the bottom one, the bag icon. So what the check icon button does is it will automatically mark the invoice of a customer and change the status of it to the next status. So for example, the book invoice will be marked as picked up and the out for delivery will be marked as delivered. As you can see, this is how it works. We have one invoice which the current status is booked, and as soon as you hit that green check mark, it will show afterwards as picked up. The next icon, the bag icon, what it does, it allows you to create an invoice on the go. So while you're on the route, it's open. You can just hit on it and it allows you to create a new invoice or a couple invoices for the current customer. So we get to the last setting of action buttons, the new order default status. With these filters, you can decide the default status of any given order when it's created. Since not all orders are created at the customer's location, this will let you choose between the three options that fits best your process. Again, it's the last set of action settings, and it will let you choose between the three options: booked, picked up, or out for delivery. We usually recommend customers to use picked up only if you're creating, of course, if your process allows it, and if you're creating orders while being at the customer's place. The last part of this webinar, we will include two specific customization tools. And keep in mind that you'll need the help of the support team in order for you to enable them on your mobile app. So the first tool um, is the access restriction settings. On one of our latest updates, you can block any user from modifying any of the settings. So the only way to enable or disable a specific setting, you'll need to enter a PIN. You'll need to contact any support member because we'll need to store the actual PIN or password under our settings. The second customization tools will be the custom release form. And in a way, it's connected to the customer signature capture that we discussed previously on this webinar. It displays an advice, if you will, to the customer of any legal binding and to prevent any misunderstandings. So the actual release form uh, will be anything displayed on the top of the signature capture, which is the bottom square. We have reached the last segment of today's webinar, the route report details. It is automatically sent at the end of each route to the driver, manager, and or owner. Keep in mind that it needs to be requested to the support team because it will be sent to the established email account. What is actually shown? At the top, it displays a summary, a start, and end of the route. With this, the system calculates the actual duration of the route and the number of stops. Let's take into consideration this set of customers to understand better this report. All of them will show the next three main details. The stop number at the top left, followed by the customer's name, and on the right column, all of the invoices that were serviced and with their corresponding status. The main details will show up to every single customer, but if you have enabled the customer signature capture, the main details will show up to every single customer. But if you have enabled the customer signature capture mentioned before, the actual signature of the customer will be displayed in here right below the invoice. You will also see the actual time that the invoices were marked as service. And again, the same order of ideas apply to this customer, but with one more feature, which is that the image taken will be displayed. Again, under the invoice and below this status of the invoice. Thank you guys so much. Uh, Thank you all who kindly took their time to see the first part of the driver settings webinar. Hope I was clear enough and you learned from the inside. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Dani. She's another member of the Enlite team that is going to help me with today's questions.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the webinar, that it was informative, that you got to learn something new. Again, if you have, we've been receiving some questions during the webinar in the chat directly to us as the hosts, and so
Great.
we're going to be sharing those very soon. But meanwhile, if you do have any more questions, feel free to, it's not too late, basically. Go ahead and share them in the chat directly to the account that says Dark Questions here. Now, I have a question for you all, though, and let's see if you get it right. It's a little trivia question. What is the name of our mascot? You saw in many of the slides there a little mascot, a little blue figure. And the question is, what is his name, this creature's name? I'll wait to see in the chat if anybody gets it right. The answer will be private, so don't worry, nobody will see it if you get it wrong. And any guess is worth guessing. We got a message here. Somebody put Monsters Inc. Mike. Very good guess. Very good guess. Definitely there is a feeling of Monsters Inc. there.
Yeah, that's
good guess, but no, that is not correct. Let's see if anybody else gets it. And yes. Yep, it's the mascot's name is Eddie. So jot that down because that'll be on the next webinar's quiz to see if everybody passes. All right, I'm going to pass, go on to the first question here that we have.
Great. Yeah, just send the questions, please.
Great. All right, it's here. The first question, I'm just going to try to go in order in which they were received.
Okay.
The first question is from Hannah. For enhanced marker overlay, how can we add the point of interest?
Okay, so that's actually a great question. First of all, you need to be aware that you're going to need the help of the support team. Okay, so just hang on with me real quick. I'm going to pull up the actual Excel sheet. So this is actually the sheet that we use to set the marker overlays. Well, the only thing that we need from your side is the actual address. You can pull them from any navigation provider, and would just let them copy in here. Just the rest, we can discuss this, the title, the descriptions, and even the icons. So yes, as soon as you have the proper information, we can just paste it in here. And from that point on, they should show up under your mobile app.
All right, great. Are we ready for the next question?
Yeah, ready for the next.
All right, the next one here says, can I attach our website link to the release form?
I'm sorry, Danny, can you repeat the question again?
Sure. It says, can I attach our website link to the release form?
Okay, so yes, you can. So the thing is that you need to keep in mind that even if you copy the link, it will be displayed, but that's it. There's no hyperlink from the actual link. So if you can see it, but it will not redirect you to the actual website.
Great. Another question we got here is, my booked orders don't always get checked when I have the auto select booked orders enabled. Why is that?
Okay, mainly it's still because of this feature. I'm going to try and explain with this emulator. And the thing is that for book orders, there is a way where you can actually create orders from the POS. So for example, if we were to go to the POS and we check the dates, let's see, for example, these customers who has a pickup date further, actually it's 3 days from today's. So even though if you open the route for this customer, it should not show up as marked. And as you can see, this is the actual customer without without being selected.
All right, we ready for the next one?
Yes, of course.
Okay, the next question here that we received is, where can I see the pictures that the driver takes? Are they saved in the system?
Oh, okay. So the only way to get the actual pictures is from the route report. So you need to inform us or let us know which is the actual email that you would like them to receive those reports. So you need to tell us and apply this setting so you can actually start receiving the route reports.
All right, great. This next one we have here is, how will the system know which employee is restricted from editing settings? Should they use their own pins? Is it by role?
Okay, so previously on our system, it was by role. It is no longer like that. So from this point, you need to let us know which is the actual pin. So the actual the support team can actually register it on our system, on our settings. So everyone, whoever is trying to access the actual settings, needs to type in the pin. So there is no role involved. It's for everyone to enter the actual pin.
Great. We have a question here from Huang. Um, it says, how does the manifest function with the driver's app?
Okay, so yeah, so the manifest it's always in sync with the app. So it's going to always be synchronized with the app. So whatever is being displayed under the routes menu, it's the same thing that you're going to see on the app. You need to be aware that on the routes menu, you can close or open manifest. So if it's closed, then it won't be synchronized with the actual app. So you need to go to the routes menu, and always make sure that on the top right, it's visible and it's on an open route. So it's going to show up like this with the green background. It means that it's open.
Okay, great. We have a question here from Angela.
Great,
She
thank
said,
you, Angela.
she says, if we made changes on the routes, will it reflect right away on the driver app, or do we need to do something else?
Okay, so I think maybe Angela needs to be more specific about this, but I think she's referring to actually the previous question. Um, if we made any changes, like a change of customer on a route, what we need to make sure it's always that the route is open, the manifest is open. So whatever changes happen on the route, it will be changed as well under the app.
Great. And I think, let's see, there's, I think that might be it. Those were all the questions we have so far. Unless there are any more, feel free to put them in the chat. But it looks like we might have been finished earlier than expected. We had fewer questions, so we might get to wrap up pretty soon.
Okay, thank you, buddy. If there are no further questions, then Danny, just let me know if anyone's typing the questions right now. If it's so, then this will be the end
Yeah.
of today's webinar. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, here we're getting one more question here.
Oh, sounds great.
It says,
Okay.
how about customers that sign up through the customer's app as regularly scheduled visits? Will they also be added with the auto select regular filter?
Customers that sign up through the customer app. Is that the question, Danny? Can you repeat the first part, please?
I believe so. Says, how about customers that sign up through the customer's app as regularly scheduled visits? Will they also be added with the auto select regular filters?
Okay, so perfect. So the answer is yes. When the customer is registered through the app, it's going to be registered as regular customer. And of course, the regular customer checkbox or the regular pickup, just as we have in here, is going to be selected. So again, if you have the filters activated, the settings that we discussed previously on the webinar, if you have the auto select feature, then those customers are always going to be highlighted or selected.
Great. It looks like those are all the questions.
Okay. So guys, thank you so much for your time. Thank you, Danny, for helping me out. And if there are no further questions, then this is the end of today's webinar, the first part of the mobile settings.
I do want to give one reminder too. As you could see, this webinar has been recorded or is being recorded, and it will be shared with you as soon as possible. So look out in your emails and make sure none of the emails are going into your junk email. So always check that as well. Like when you get emails from Enlite, make sure you put it like as a preferred email sender to make sure it doesn't go into junk, and you'll be getting the replay